It's Kelly Dale with Off the Beaten Path. Today, we are going to be talking about how to make the flowering vines bracelet. So, originally, I did this as an e-class back, maybe in April for some of my local customers, and they really enjoyed this project. So I'm looking forward to getting to show it to you today. If you are not on social media, on our Facebook group, it is 2-hole bead month in our Facebook group. So all month I've been trying to do things with 2-hole beads. So today's project is going to use the 2-hole bar, so a checkmate bar. It's a fun little bead to work with. It's a flat bead. I'll show you what it looks like, but it's got 2 holes in it, and it's a lot of fun to work with. So we are going to be working with those today. We are going to be working with some size 11 seed beads. Does not matter which brand you use on those. We are going to be working with some size 8 demi-round beads. Now, I'll show you what demi-round beads are, but basically a demi-round bead, it looks like a super skinny size 8 seed bead. Now, I know I'm going to get the question asked, can I use a 0 bead or an O bead? And no, you can't. They will not work for this project. You need to use a demi-round bead. I'm also going to be using 4mm check glass rounds. Now, these that I'm using are like a druck. They have no facets to them. They're just a round bead. So you can use like a glass bead. You could use a pearl, anything that's completely round. If you try to use a fire polish bead, it has a more oval shape and it will not work for the project. Other than that, you're going to need a needle and thread and a button. So that is the fun. So hello to everybody joining me. I know I'm earlier today than I normally am. Normally I'm not till 1 p.m. Eastern, but we're in the middle of doing inventory, and I have a bead retreat this weekend. Hey, Donna Brackett. So I'm trying to do a little bit early. Hey, Belinda. Hey, Karen. Elaine, Harriet, Denise. Hello. So let's get started. If you will, please make sure to stay at the end of the video. I have a couple of things that I can't wait to speak with you about and to let you know about, some cool little fun surprise stuff. So hang out if you can to the end of the video. Remember, we're filming the video live right now, but as soon as the video gets done, it will be uploaded into YouTube. Then you can come back and watch it at any time. So if you can't stay for the whole video, or you have to go do something else, just remember you can come and check it out. I do have kits available on my website, offthebeatedpathbeadstore.com, and I will show you the 3 kind of color samples that we have for that. And I have the step-by-step tutorial for sale. So if you cannot or you don't like to, learn visually through video, I do have the pattern for sale. And again, it's at offthebeatedpathbeadstore.com. Already getting lots of compliments about my earrings, so thank you very much. If you remember, I know a lot of you probably remember these from bead therapy back during when we were closed for COVID. This is the Chatty Cathy pendant that I actually made into a pair of earrings because you can't see them, but they match my leggings perfectly. So that's why I've got them on today. Hello to Gail Arita from Australia. Hello. Glad you're here. And Ines from Norway. Miss Elizabeth said she ordered a kit. Way to go. And Christy from Chicago. Hello. So I'm going to flip the camera around. So if you get motion sickness, please look away for just 1 minute while I flip the camera around. Okay. So let me get us all set up here and kind of happy and good to go. I know I'm going to get some questions about my board. The board I'm using today is by Carol Guterman, and this is where you can find out all of the info about her boards. And until the end of this month, if you use the code DISCOUNT10, you get 10% off on the board. She has this and others. I also really love my boards from the Bead Wrangler on Etsy. So, all right. So, first, 2-hole bar. So you can see it is a flat bead. It has 2 holes here. And the good thing about the holes, you can really see if they're open or closed or whatever. So they're a smaller size bar. I'm using red today. I'm using a size 11 hematite seed bead. And this little guy right here is our demi round. It's a size 8 seed bead, but you can see it has the diameter of a size 8, but it's not that wide. It's very, very skinny. So this is what a demi round is. They also make them in 11 and 6s. And then you can see here, I'm just using a little round, solid round bead. So to get started, I've got my needle threaded with about 2 yards of thread. And for once, I'm actually getting to use red thread. I'm so excited. I'm using KO red thread. I never, ever, ever can use red thread, so it's awesome. So I've got 2 yards threaded, and I guess it helps to show you kind of what we're going to make today. So these are some of the color versions that I have on the website as kits. So this one here is the purple version. This is, of course, my favorite. I went through that purple and lime green phase all spring and summer. This is brown, the one that we call brown. This will be perfect to take us into the fall season. It has macadamia, check beads, and I forget which color these are here, but so this is the brown version. And then this is the turquoise version. The only difference between this one and what'll be in the kit is the kit version has a darker, I think it's a hematite bead instead of the silver, because silver has been sold out for a few weeks. I had just a few left in my stash, so these are actually in the kit. They're hematite. So these are some of the samples for today. Okay, so this is what we're making. It's a fun little piece. This is actually the one that I did. I did a little Barbie bracelet. During our e-class that I did back in April. So I hung on to it just so you could kind of see what it looks like with the pink and the red and the hematite. So we're going to start out fresh today with a brand new piece of thread here. Again, it's 2 yards, and I'm going to thread on one of my bar beads. Now, if you get the pattern, the bar bead is labeled BB, as in bar bead. Okay, so BB. 1 demi round, 1 4mm, 1 demi round, and 1 bar bead. So to start out, this is what you should have. Okay. Now, I'm going to bring this down. I'm not going to pull it all the way down yet, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to thread on 3 of my 11s. Now, this is where I'm going to drop them down. And for now, I'm just going to kind of hold on to this tail thread. If you want to, you can absolutely take and put a stop bead on here, whatever you want to do, okay? But I'm going to take the needle. And I'm going to, let me see if I can zoom in here just a little. All right, so I'm going to take the needle and I'm going to come through the other hole that's open here on the bar bead. So what's going to happen is these 3 11s are just going to kind of sit on the edge just like this. And that's what we want it to do. So now I'm going to thread on 1 demi, 1 round, and 1 demi. And I'm going to come through the open hole of my other bar bead here. So you can see that this is what we have so far. I have my tail thread coming out on this left side, and my working thread is coming out here on the right side. So I'm going to pick up 3 11s. I'm going to let these drop all the way down. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tie these 2 threads together. So when you tie them together, you just want to be careful that you don't get any beads caught up inside of that knot. Okay. Hello, Deborah Gibson. Hope you're doing well today. Okay, so this is what we should have so far. So what I'm going to do now, I'm not going to add any beads. I'm just going to take my needle and I'm going to go through the bar and all the way around to come out here at the top. Okay, so I'm just going to take my needle and I'm going to stitch straight through to get us in position. Oh, our UPS guy is here. The best UPS guy on the planet, whose name is Jarvis.
His phone number is.
And not only that, but our best UPS driver on the planet is thinking about taking another route. So I just don't even know what to think of that.
You have to put more butter on that bread.
Oh gosh, y'all gotta help me out here. Okay, so I'm coming out of the 4mm round at this point. So I've taken my needle and I've just gone all the way around to come out of this top bead here. So coming out of the round bead. So now we're gonna make this little slot right here. We're gonna do this little piece. So we're gonna pick up a demi, a round, a demi, a round, a demi, a round, and a demi. So we're going to pick up 4 demis and 3 round beads. And I'm going to take the needle and I'm going to come back through the same bead that I'm coming out of so that it makes a circle. Okay, so my working thread was coming out here on the right, so I'm taking my needle and coming from left to right through that bead. Thank you, Melissa. Most of the rings that I have on my fingers are all free patterns that we have on my website. And again, that's offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com. Okay, so it's going to look a little funky right now, and that's okay. We've got this little circle of beads here that we're trying to make. So now I'm going to come through the first demi round that I added, which is going to be this very next demi here. Okay, so coming out of the demi. So hello to everybody joining us. We are making the Flowering Vines bracelet today. So I'm going to thread on 111. And I'm going to go through the next demi. So essentially, essentially I'm going to skip this bead here and I'm going to go through the next demi round. And when you do this, ooh, I better fix this before I get a hot mess going on. Ooh. Hey, Paula. Miss Paula is joining us now. Thanks to everybody who's joining us today. Okay, so when I pop this bead and I pull it, I want that bead to go into the middle. So I don't want it to come out here. I want it to go into the center. And I'm going to kind of work this all the way around, just picking up an 11. And I'm going to go through the next demi round. Okay, so the demi round, Gala is asking what the demi round looks like. So Gala, this is what a demi round is. It's not this specific one, because of what we're using it for, is not interchangeable for a 0 bead or an O bead. This is a size 8 seed bead, but it's basically chopped down really small and skinny. So I'm just going to work around my little circle here, picking up 111 and coming through the next demi. And I do sell the size 11, the size 8, and the size 6 seed beads in the demi, and they are DEMI, demi rounds, on my website. Plus, I have kits for this project in 3 different colors. All right, so I have gone all the way around, and as you can see, I've put the 11s in there. But now what we need to do is we need to go through the 11s here in the center again, just the 11s. So I'm coming out of the demi, so I'm just going to go right through the very next 11, so that very next bead there. And then I'm just going to go through just the 11s. I'm not going to go through the demis this time, only through those 11s. Okay. And this just helps to keep those together, keep them on top. We want our tension really nice and tight on these because we want the beads like this. We want them to stay on top. We don't want them to pop down in the center. We want them to stay here on top. And so that's what we're doing right now. So I'm coming out of this right number 11 seed bead, and I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go through the demi and the 4mm round. This is going to get us into position to do our next little section. So the demi and 4mm round. And it's funny because when I'm looking at this, all I can think is one of my friends, Barbara Wilcox, she would love this color scheme because of the black and silver. So I'm coming out here now. Hello to everybody just joining us. We are going to pick up one demi, one bar, so one bar bead, our little 2-hole bar bead here, and 3 11s. So Donna Hall says it's her first time she got to watch live. Well, fantastic, Donna. We're so glad you're with us live on this video today. Okay, good morning to Lily Bowers from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Love that city, by the way. Okay, so needle is coming out. I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to come through the same bar bead again. So I'm going back in this other direction here so that it will make my next little hump here. So for those of you who are really good at kind of following along and watching, you'll pretty much know then that my next little section here is going to be a demi, a round, a demi, and a bar bead, and 3 11s. Let's see. Hello to Carol Cox. She said she is in Science Hill, Kentucky. It's a beautiful area as well. I love Kentucky. Okay, so now I'm going to come back through the other bar bead here. I used to go through Kentucky every year to get to Milwaukee, but man, it don't look like we're going to be going back to bead and button. That makes me sad. Hello to Donna from Callicoon, New York. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to pick up another demi, and I'm going to go through my bead here. Now, once I go through this, I am going to go ahead and come around and come out of the 4mm up here. So let's see. Nancy says, I've never seen red string. Any chance that's a new color of wildfire or fireline? No, Nancy. Let's see. Yeah, it is Nancy. This is red KO thread. I have this in my stash, and honestly, Nancy, this is the first time I have ever used it. I don't stitch. I don't use a lot of red beads. I'm just not a red person, I guess. And so, yeah. Hello to Sarah and Annette Catalano and Lily. Let's see. If you don't have bar beads, can you use super duo beads? That's a good question, Deborah. Let me think, Deborah. You know what, Deborah? We're going to try it on our next little thing here. I've never tried it, so we'll see. We'll give it a whirl. I'll grab some super duos and we'll see. Hey, Sammy, can you do me a favor? Can you look in our overstock drawer and bring me just, I don't care what color super duo. I just going to see if they work. Okay, so I have 4 demis and 3 4mm here. And I'm going to come back around to make my circle. So that it looks like this. Now, you'll see when you do this, these demis are going to kind of pop out, and that's fine. When we do this next step, that's where it's going to pull it in for us. So I'm going to go through the demi. Okay, I'm going to pick up an 11, and I'm going to go through the next demi. Oh, let me hold on to the camera. Oh, it's like like King Kong's coming up the. Oh, well, that's gonna be interesting. Yeah, them are bright. Absolutely. Okay, I'm gonna pick up an 11 and go. Oh, let me hold the camera again just for a second, guys. Let's see. So I'm just gonna pick up my 11s and go through the next size 8 demi all the way around. So I'm adding 4 size 11 seed beads. Oh no, Angela, we're so sorry to hear that. Man, yeah, the Hurricane Sally, man, that must have hit y'all hard there. Okay, and so right now you can see that my 11s are wonky, and that's okay because this time we're gonna go just through those 11s. Okay, just through those 11s, pulling through. Okay. Hello, Stefano. How are you today? Stefano is from Italy. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to do one of these little circles, and we're going to see if super duos will work. I think it'll change up the look of it, but we'll see what happens. So this is not going to match, but I'm going to pick up a demi, a super duo, and 3 11s. So, Sandra, I do not know what hours I will be open around Thanksgiving, but if you want to make sure to check the website, I pretty much keep the hours updated on our website. Okay, so then it's going to be a demi, a round, a demi, a duo, and 3 11s. Now, I think what's going to happen is I think that the super duos are smaller, just a little bit shorter. So I don't know if they're going to work, but we'll see. Okay, so Nancy says she missed the beginning. This is not going to be a color choice for a kit. The color choices for the kits are the ones that I showed, and this will be uploaded to YouTube so you can kind of see that afterwards. But I sell all of these supplies on my website. Mini duos definitely will not work. And I think what's going to happen is these are going to stick out a little more. But we'll see. Hello to Lorraine. So we'll see on this when we go to work in respect of using them here. I think the biggest thing we're going to see is how they are going to look when we go around and we do the outer edges. There is going to be a little bit more room between here where our bars are and here. There's going to be more room between the bars and the rounds rather than the super duos and the rounds. So I think I'm going to do just a couple more with these super duos, and we'll see. We might just have to change the counts here on the outer edge if you don't have bars. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is where we're going to pick up our, will a half Tila work? A half Tila will work. but a quarter Tila will work better. Yeah, the bars are awesome. I love these Checkmate bars. I have a bunch of colors in our online store of these Checkmate bars. They're really, really fun to work with. Okay, so I'm putting my 11s in now. And so the first one that you put in, you might have to kind of, just fiddle around with it to make them. You need to make them stay in the center. Naturally, they're going to want to pop to the outside. So you'll want them to make sure they stay to the inside. Michelle, yes, this will be available to watch later. All of our live videos, once they're complete, they are uploaded into YouTube, and you can watch them whenever you want, sweetie. All right. So as you can see now, you can start to see the pattern. As you go through, you can really start to see your pattern that you're doing. It's a really simple pattern, especially after the first couple, because you can really, just kind of sit there and think, look what you did last time. So I'm coming out here and I know I'm going to do a demi, a duo, and 3 11s. Well, hey, Shirley Moore. Okay, and then a demi, a round, a demi, a duo, and 3 11s. Now remember, I wrote the pattern with the Checkmate bars. We are trying it with super duos just to see if they'll work. The half Tilas will work. It's going to give you more space, between your beads. The quarter Tilas will work better. Any bead that you substitute is going to change up the pattern a little bit and make it look a little bit different. Okay, so I think the biggest thing that I'm seeing so far when putting in the super duos, these beads are going to sit closer together than where you have the bars because you have more room between them. Whereas here, you're not going to have any room between what you're using. So I think that's going to be the biggest thing when using your super duos in place. All right, so I'm not going to sit here and make you... they only make one size of the bar beads right now, Anita. So it's just a Checkmate bar. I'll have to look. I don't have the specific size written down on the pattern, so I'll just have to kind of look on the website. So I'm not going to sit here and make you watch me do a whole bunch more of these pieces to make out the length. When you go through and you get your entire length, you're then wanting to come out at this very last bead here on the end. So I wrote this for a button, but you can use any clasp whatsoever, and you can attach it however you want to. I'm just going to use a regular old button just because, I just like a button clasp. So on this end, what we're going to do is we're going to add the button. So we're going to pretend and act like I have a whole length of a bracelet like this. All right. So I'm going to come out of this round bead and I'm going to pick up 3 11s, my button, and 3 11s. So you could do this the same way if you were going to put a regular clasp on it. And now I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to come back through the same bead. Stefano says he made a necklace and bracelet, the bow tie set of mine, for his mom, and she was very happy. That's awesome. I love to hear that. Okay, so I've gone through and I'm going to go and I'm going to reinforce these beads again. Okay, and I'm going to pull this real tight. Exactly, Donna. It's a Barbie bar bracelet. You are correct. Okay, now once I get that done and I have, kind of went ahead and done all that I need to do for that one, then, and I reinforced it, I'm going to stitch through to come out of this first 11 right here after the duo or bar or Tila or Rula at this point. Whatever two-hole bead you have, I guess. Oh, so I'm coming out of this first bead here. And what we're going to do now is we are going to skip this size 11 seed bead here. So you have 3. We're going to skip the one in the middle. And when we skip it, we want that bead to pop out just like that. We want it to make a little picot or a point or whatever you have it. Okay? Vienne says, I'm currently trying to make your On the Rocks set. It's so much fun. Yes, and I think I actually have the On the Rocks ring on today. So, all right, so I am skipping that one. Now I'm going to thread on 111 and I'm going, or no, I'm sorry, 1 demi round and 1, no, backwards, an 11 and a demi round. And I'm going to go through the next 4 millimeter. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to put on a demi and an 11. And I'm going to go through this bead here. Okay, so Marley's Waggle, where can I buy? It says your bead holder. I'm assuming your bead board. If you'll go back to the very beginning of this video, I give all of that info out, and I will do it at the end of this as well. Sammy, read the comment that was just put on here, babe. So my bead is coming out here. I'm going to skip a bead and go through the next one. Paula, Sammy is helping to moderate today, so I'll let him read that. Okay, so I'm going to pick up an 11 and a demi, and I'm going to go through the next 4 millimeter. Okay, so this really, you can see how now this is really finishing these sides and making them look really good. And you guys, I have to say that I'm kind of digging this orange here. It reminds me of Halloween. It absolutely is reminding me of Halloween right now. I am totally digging that orange. I might have to make one with the orange. So now it's a demi and an 11, and then we go through the next first bead of our little set of 3 here. I'm going to skip the 11 and go through the next 11. And you will basically do this down the entirety of your bracelet. We're going to do this down one side. So when I come out of an 11, I pick up the 11 and the demi and go through the 4 millimeter. Then this time you pick up a demi and an 11. So you'll see it's backwards. You pick up one way and then you pick up the opposite way. This just puts a demi next to each of our 4 millimeter round beads. Okay. So you can see the difference between using the duos and the bars. So now I'm going to skip the 11 and go through the next 11. So I've got my Barbie bracelet here. I've got to put my little loop here on the end. So I'm going to go through the bar, the demi, and the 4mm. Now this is where we have to build our loop for our button. So let me look here. I think I'm just going to pick up, I'm going to get some 11s here. I'm going to start out with like 28 11s and test it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 24. Okay, so I'm going to try 28 beads first. And I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to come back through the round bead that my thread is coming out of to make a circle. So I'm going to hold this tight. And it actually is going to fit my button perfectly. It is absolutely going to fit it perfectly. So I don't have to worry about doing another thing. And guys, actually Carol Guterman, who made this beadboard where I showed you at the beginning, she is on with us chatting right now. So hello, Carol. I was just telling them at the beginning of the video how to get your board. So if I was making this for my bracelet, what I would do is I would go through and I would reinforce this loop as many times, honestly, as I could get my needle back through the 4mm round bead. I always feel like this gets the brunt of the force of wearing it. So I always try to make sure that I reinforce this really well. So what I would do is I would reinforce this as many times as I could. Hello to everybody just joining us. We are making the, what are we making? I can't even remember at this point. The Flowering Vines bracelet. And I'm almost done with the video, but this will be uploaded to YouTube so you can see the whole project and learn about all the different types of beads that you can use for this project, because we have been playing with a good many of them. So now we need to do the edging on this side. So I'm coming out of the 11. I'm going to skip an 11 and go through an 11. And remember, when you pull it, you want it to pop it into place. Okay, you really want that bead to pop out. So then we pick up an 11 and a demi and go through the 4mm, a demi and an 11. So Deborah asked, would making the loop with peyote clasp, with a peyote, I guess, ring clasp, make it stronger? Not necessarily. You can absolutely do that if you want to, but it's not necessary. I think either way, it's going to get, just like any other clasp, it's going to get the brunt of it, but that's okay. I just go through and I reinforce it really well. I think anything that you can just work and reinforce really well you're good to go. I love a button clasp. So I'm here. I'm going to skip the 11 and go through the next 11. Man, you guys, I am so glad you asked if the Super Duo would work, because I am digging this with the Super Duo. And maybe it's the color. Maybe it's that cool orange color that I am all about. Okay, so once you get to the end, of my little Barbie bracelet here, you'll want to make it, of course, big enough for you. I'm making it for Barbie. But we are going to skip, our middle bead here, just like we normally do, and then you can tie it off with half hitch knots, kind of whatever you want to do. So I'm going to take and just go under my little spot here between the 11 and the duo, and I'm going to pull it and make a little knot there. And then I will thread through a few beads. And I'll do the same here. Okay. And then, you can put as many knots in it as you want. I'm only going to put 2 because I don't think Barbie's going to need too many here. And voila. There we are. That's what the difference is going to look like between the bar beads and if you use a super duo bead. Okay, so for those who joined late, I have three of these kits available, kit colors on my website. I have this brown version here, which will be great for the fall season. I have this purple and avocado, or purple and lime. And then I have a turquoise. The only difference between the kits and what you see here is the kits have a hematite bead instead of the silver bead. I also have the pattern for sale, and it is a step-by-step pattern. I sell it as an instant download or as a printed version. So let me turn the camera around really quickly here so we can chat about a few fun things. Okay, so first of all, a quick reminder that the board I used today is from Carol Guterman, and this is how you get info on that board. And remember, if you use the discount code discount10, discount10 on her site, you get 10% off up until the end of this month, which is September. Also, like I said, we have all of these on our website. I also have lots of bar beads and all of that good stuff at offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com. Now, I've been getting a lot of questions because some of you have noticed that I'm also doing e-classes through my website. So the e-classes are not free. The e-classes are normally more advanced projects. And with those advanced projects, they take more time for me to do, they take more time for you to do, so that's why they are an e-class. So with the e-class, if you go to offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com, we have a whole category now for classes. So if you click on that, you can see that we are now offering the e-classes as well as our in-store classes. The e-classes are set for specific dates and times. Okay, so like say we've got one, I think, coming up on the 16th of this month, say like next month from 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern, something like that. If you can't take it at that specific time, that's totally okay. I do it as a live class, but then after the class, if you can't be at that class, you can access the class that was filmed. So you can really do the e-class anytime you want to. You don't have to be available at that specific time. Always read the descriptions for your e-classes, like click on it, read the description. A majority of the classes we do as e-classes, you pay one price and your kit is included in that class. If you are overseas and we won't have enough time to get you a kit, we can definitely do it just as an e-class, and you can use your own beads or gather your own supplies for that project. That's not a big deal. We are willing to work with people in different time zones. But I have been getting a lot of questions about that, so that is that about the e-classes. Now, the other thing I wanted to let you know that we're super excited and stoked about is that starting late next week, some of our delicas are going to start arriving. So for the first two or 3 weeks, we are going to be doing nothing but putting delicas in the computer and getting them tubed up and ready to go, because my goal is by Christmas to have every delica that they make. So that way, if you call me and you need 12 colors of delicas, and right now I might not have but 6 of them, but hopefully by Christmas we will have all of them. So by the end of next week, hopefully we will have all of the first 1,000 colors that they make. Then after we get those in the system, get those tubed up, get those ready to go, then I will order what colors we don't have of the final 1,000, 1,500, whatever. So that is something fun that you guys can look forward to, because I know I'm excited about it. Totally excited about that. So guys, one other thing I did want to let you know. Next Monday, so a week from today, that's going to be the 28th, I had planned to do this ring here with the nib bits and the cabochons from Nick's Creations. The only thing is, you guys bombarded Nick's, and he is really trying to get all the orders sent out and ready to go. So he is still shipping out orders. So what we are going to have to do is I am going to actually hold off until the first week of October. Okay, so we're pushing it back 1 week just to make sure more people get their little cabochons. The other reason is because I'm teaching a bead retreat this weekend here in my store, and I know that this week I will not have time to get the pattern finished for you guys before Monday. So just know that I probably will not be live next week, and then I will be live back with you the first Monday of October, and we will do that little ring. So guys, I hope you have a really great week this week, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.